talking about AI as a ubiquitous liquid, and you pour it on things, and some things melt and some things grow, right? Because all of humanity will be transformed, and it just means that you invest in the future, as we've always done, right? So to me, if you think AI is a tech, you invest in the tech, but it's like, no, you should invest in the future that AI creates.
What tells you something is a real platform shift versus just a short-term narrative?
AI is not a technology wave because it's the first technology that actually makes decisions on its own. So I feel like this is absolutely fundamentally not another tech wave. This is something else. This is something very new.
All right. Hello, everyone. So today, Venture Signals, we have Miko with us. Hi, Miko. How are you?
Hi, Marva. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So let's get started. Firstly, can you a little bit introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm currently a managing partner with Gumi Cryptos Capital. We have $110 million. We're working with a Web3 thesis, and we really believe that the internet will be reinvented on a new foundation.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Miko, you have lived through several major technology waves, and what feels genuinely different about AI right now, and what feels like same hype pattern repeating again for you?
I feel like everything's new and nothing is old. I feel like AI is not a technology wave because it's the first technology that actually makes decisions on its own. So I feel like this is absolutely fundamentally not another tech wave. This is something else. This is something very new.
Nice. And when you look at AI today, what tells you something is a real platform shift versus just a short-term narrative?
Yeah, so to me, I have a long history where I built my first backpropagation neural network in 1990. It had 33 parameters. So like I've been studying this a long time, and I can tell you this is that the biggest earthquake was transformers, which is not artificial intelligence, it's artificial attention. And the ability to give attention to machines changed everything, and now the whole world has changed.
Wow. And what's the biggest thing people are currently overhyping in AI?
I mean, I don't think it's that possible to overhype AI. If you're writing a paragraph about the history of the Earth over 4.6 billion years, you could probably give AI an entire sentence unto itself. I'm really hoping that nuclear fusion will be another sentence that will follow shortly after the AI sentence is written. So in a paragraph about the entire Earth and the history of the world, I think we're talking about really big moments.
And what are the earliest signals you look for when deciding whether an AI company is building something durable?
So I feel like with pitches, one of the most important things is the problem statement. So I feel like a lot of founders do a pretty poor job explaining the problem that they're solving. And so I'm very interested in that because the problem reflects the mindset and the mindset reflects the outcome. So if the person has a bad mindset, then they're really unable to do much.
True. And what does fake momentum look like in AI startups?
Well, I think one of the oldest tricks in the book is to sell Google Cloud credits, right? So you basically just resell cloud credits for like, 10 cents each or whatever. And then you have, 35K MRR.
And what does real momentum look like before revenue is obvious?
Yeah, to me, the real momentum is simple, which is much more architectural, right? Which is that what you really want is you want a virtuous cycle, and you want a virtuous cycle where there's an embodiment of learning, which is continuous improvement, right? So you really want a workflow, and then you want the workflow to be continuously improving on the basis of data streams.
Nice. And if everyone is saying this is the future, what specific evidence that you believe it or dismiss it?
Yeah, I mean, I really hold my own thesis, but like I love talking about AI as a ubiquitous liquid, and you pour it on things, and some things melt and some things grow, right? Like a plant, right? So to me, something like jobs, like a lot of jobs melt, right? So, you pour intelligence on it. So to me, I'm much more interested in, since I believe that AI is not a tech trend, right? I don't really need to invest directly in AI because I believe that AI is a historical and seismic change to humanity. And because of that, there's so many adjacent things to invest in, right? Because all of humanity will be transformed. And it just means that you invest in the future, as we've always done, right? So to me, if you think AI is a tech, you invest in the tech. But it's like, no, you should invest in the future that AI creates.
Amazing. And what makes an AI founder instantly stand out to you?
I really like founders who are now shipping. So I really love the solo founders. I think solo founders, because to me, solo founders aren't solo anymore, right? They all have a CTO called Claude that they work with closely. So like, I really like this kind of builder founders, right? Early stage founders who are like, well, here's my slide deck. I just kind of feel bad, right? Because I'm like, why have you not actually built the product that you're proposing you're going to build? Like, why? Like, where is it? Like, why? Like, what's wrong? Like, why? If you're proposing to build a product, where is the product? Right? Like, that's what I want to see.
That's really cool. Nice. And what kind of founders can survive after the hype fades?
I really continue to embrace and love the solo founder because it's my belief that the median size of company on the earth is going to be one employee. And so I think that if you think about the cost structure, in fact, I had a founder say to me once that she figured out the secret, which is that at zero burn, you have infinite runway. So that's a pretty interesting hack, right? So like if you want to survive forever, then as a company, not as a human,
Mhm.
but if you want to survive forever as a company, just reduce your burn, ideally to zero.
Yeah, totally agree. That's super cool. And so, what part of AI today reminds you of earlier platform shifts like Java or open source?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that there is hype, but the thing that's so funny about the hype this time is that if anything, there's underhype, right? Like the guy that I really enjoy is Dario Amodei, who's Anthropic, right? He says that by 2030 at the latest, he's going to have an entire nation of super geniuses sitting in his data center, right? And maybe not just sitting. So it's going to be interesting.
How do you tell whether an AI startup has real signal or just has a really good storytelling?
Well, I think that what's really vitally important becomes traction. And, traction is simple, right? Which is that if you really solve somebody's problem, then why aren't those people paying and giving you revenue, right? Because it feels like they should pay for the problem you solve. And that's something that I think is hard to fake.
Yeah, that's great. And what do technical founders misunderstand about distribution?
Oh my Lord. Everything? I do think that because there's no real tech moat anymore, right? Then distribution really becomes king. And I feel like tech founders are often very vague about distribution, right? And I really feel like the key to it is really being much more concrete and really explaining like where the customers are identified, where they come from, and why do they buy.
Hmm. Cool. And what's a signal that you trust early on before the market, everybody is agrees? Like, so you are like, oh, yeah, this is a signal. Now I'm going to catch it. What's your signal?
Yeah, I mean, I think I come from the opposite direction, which is that I really want to reason about what I think the future will hold. I think the venture time scale is 4 to 7 years, which is sort of the time to unicorn in Web 2. So to me, that time frame is one where everything can be changed. So to me, like signals implies that you're waiting for the universe to tell you what's going to happen, right? Whereas thesis is much more the opposite. Just thesis is you have to tell the universe what you think is going to happen, so that you have to come up with that on your own.
Okay, so what's the okay. Maybe I can ask you, so what are the go-to-market tactics that currently AI startups are not using a lot, but you think they should use?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pains that you can chase today is job boards, right? Because if people are trying to hire humans to do something, the pain has to be at least the size of an entire human, right? So that's a really powerful signal to chase, because you can basically say, okay, well, that's a big problem that's real. And I can actually just approach the hiring manager and say, okay, well, I can just solve that problem for you, and you don't even have to hire this person.
That's it. um, so what looks like noisy today, but could become a giant company tomorrow?
I think a lot of these hyper fragmented markets, I think local businesses could be exciting. One area that I think could be very exciting is events and event management. I think that could be a high. I look for these very highly fragmented markets, right? Because fragmentation is a sign that there's chaos, right? And that really, when you look at fragmentation, it's the perfect opportunity for AI. You just pour intelligence on it and it defragments.
Amazing. Yeah, like overall, that's kind of it. I have maybe last like two questions for you. So when you, or let's ask this, what's a belief you hold about innovation or investing that many smart people still disagree with?
So here's what I believe about today, which is I believe that the AI Godzilla is here. And I believe that everybody should just pick a direction and run as fast as they possibly can. And I believe that if I encounter people that aren't doing that, then I don't want to invest.
Nice, amazing. Okay, so now it's your time. So I want to ask you, like, what do you think about the where this industry goes right now? As an AI insider, you are in Silicon Valley, at the heart of the Silicon Valley, and you have been talking with so many founders every day. Maybe you got pitched by so many founders. What do they tell you? Like, what is next? What should we get ready for it?
I'll tell you what I'm super excited about is I'm super excited about local inference, right? And I know it's a little bit contrarian, but I really think that there's a huge combination of things: open source, open weight models. And then there's a huge combination, things like distillation is very important. And in this context, when you start to look at the proficiency of chips that are AI optimized, right? So even if you look at the M5 Fusion tech that Apple is shipping, right? Apple Studio, really big on-die memory. So like, I believe local inference is actually going to take off like a shot. I think it's going to be very valuable. And, probably 50% of inference will go local at least.
Wow, makes sense. That's cool. And if you would start a company right now, would you start an AI company or the market is already oversaturated?
I think that the idea of an AI company is probably a dumb idea, because it's like saying a company, like a money company. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's sort of like, what is a not AI company, right? Like if you start a not AI company, then you're just like, it's like starting a not money company. It's like, I would like to
Mhm.
start a company that doesn't use money, right? And it's like, I'd like to start a company that doesn't use AI. It's almost the same thing, right? It's basically like,
Yeah.
okay, you're not going to exist next, right? So like, there isn't, I don't think there's such a thing as an AI company, really. Like, I think it's the same, every company has to be an AI company. So, that's just a rule.
Amazing. And what kind of company would you start? Where is the
uh, i'm
opportunity?
I'm interested in AI adjacency, and I think one of the biggest ones has to do, I hate to use this term because it's misused, but I really think that trust is a big issue. And I think that verification, I would say witnessing, verification, cryptography, privacy, self-sovereignty, these are all really important topics that I think would be a big deal.
That's super cool. Thank you so much for your time, Miko. Yeah, it was amazing to chat with you.
Thank you so much.